So, welcome back folks. Here we are at my sort of musket, back in the bunker again. Now, everything I've shown you so far has had a very strong military bent or Western Americana type department, but every now and again something comes along which you just have to admire for the sheer quality of workmanship and materials that they use to produce it, bearing in mind that an awful lot of work was hand finished and prepared. So what we have here today, and what we're going to look at today in fact, is a shotgun. It is a percussion muzzle loading shotgun, and it's all packed away neatly, in this case hardwood, probably mahogany. It's got inset brass handles, beautiful inset military corners, everything's flush. The key still operates and locks the thing. If we open it, we can see immediately that it is lined with leather. Now that is something that tended to be a Scottish influence. So the Scots quite liked having their guns presented in such a way. It's not in the French manner, and it's not strictly in the English manner, but what we've got here is pig hide with ivory or bone turned handles. The gun is broken down into two parts, and it's all stored away neatly in this box, which I don't imagine you would lug out across the moors, but it certainly keeps everything together. As you can see, all the loading accoutrements and the gun itself. Who's it by? Well, it's by City of London gun manufacturers George and John Dean. And it shows 46 King William Street, London Bridge. There we go, gun and pistol manufacturers. Original label, showing some spots of wear. Everything matches, no loose edges. Hasn't been torn off and repasted. Once again, set in to the hand-tooled pig skin. So let's have a look at the gun. Well, as I said, it's a shotgun, it's percussion. We have standard double triggers. We have the maker's name on the side plates, George and John Dean, with a doggy hunting scene. Everything is scroll engraved. We have a George and John Dean patent 483. Everything is exactly the same on both sides. So if I turn it over, now the only difference may be slightly in the wear and the colour that has remained. Look at those hammers, look how beautifully they're engraved. Not too much, but what has been done is absolutely faultless. We will have to cock those hammers to put the gun together, so let's bring them back now. Just show you the back of the hammers there. You've got some screw inserts. Oh, and there's the upper tang. Once again, beautifully engraved with a doggy chasing a bird scene, or chasing a duck, or a curlew, something with a long beak, something that people who know their birds and their game will recognise. But as I say, I'm not a game shooter, but I have to admire this gun purely for the quality of manufacturing. So there's the inside. There's the huts that the twin barrels lock into. And there's the sliding cross pin. I'll pop this down for a moment and then we'll have a look at the barrels. The barrels are Damascus steel with a George and John Dean address. Makers to HRH Prince Albert. King William Street, London Bridge. So, as we move along down, you can see that wonderful Damascus steel pattern. Now, that looks to be original all over because we've got high edge wear in all the places we would expect it. It's not too red. There's the little silver foresight. Now I'm going to put you down and we'll have a look at the underside of the barrels. Because that's where a lot of important information is. Got a ramrod, which is not captive, of course. Now, there we have it. .16 gauge, viewing mark, government proof mark. It's really nice. Down here, we have the powder measures. And then you can see the change of metal to go to the huts and the viewing marks on the huts, which are individual. Have a quick look at those. Perfectly clear instructions. So 2 3/4 drums of powder, 1 1/4 ounce of shot. Can't get it more clear than that. If we turn the barrel sideways, you can see the platinum plugs. Now, let's start thinking about how old this shotgun is and compare it with the condition of those shields and the condition of the nipples, which, yes, are replaceable, but look to be original. There is no proof, no pitting. There is no corrosion. It's a nice bit more of engraving. This shotgun is what we call in the collecting world a sleeper. This is the area where overblast from the percussion caps should normally cause almost chronic disruption of the surface of the metal. But this gun is in such wonderful condition. Now, the gentleman I bought it off was a farmer with an interest in old and wonderful things like this, and he said he had actually shot this fairly regularly. Obviously, he was good at cleaning his shotgun and probably thoroughly enjoyed the activity. If you look down the barrels, the bores are the same. There is no corrosion. It's astounding in collecting field that it can be in this kind of condition. it together. So you may hear loud clankings and tinkering, but it's not too difficult. All we do is push out the side pin, the cross pin, and that will go only so far until it is stopped by a tiny little pin in the wood that's running in that slot that stops it coming out and being dropped on the floor. So we simply hook in, hold firmly and push across. That is now in position. We can now put the ramrod back. And there we have it. One percussion shotgun, several hundreds of years old, in beautiful sleeper condition. Checkering, hand cut. More decoration, in fact, some bluing still on the upper tang of the butt plate. They've used a beautiful piece of walnut with some fine figure. The wood to metal fit is just astounding. This is where the craftsman really showed his abilities to hand finish that and cut that in so perfectly. Underneath, more decoration. Once again, wood to metal fit. Unbelievably precise. Some bluing still on this trigger guard. Engraving. Even the screws. Even the screw heads are engraved. Moving backwards along the long tang to finally finish there, mirroring what is on the front of the upper tang. And of course the checkering, hand applied. Do you get anything like that these days? Quick answer, no you don't. Anyway, what do we need to work and service this weapon? Well, it's all here. There's the main spring clamp for inside. That actually is still case colour hardened. So moving on around the case, we've got a little hand-turned ebony pot with only one replacement nipple in it, but it looks used. We have got the great big thumping great big powder flask by Hawksley of Sheffield, as you can see there, with adjustable measures on the outside. Once again, the old measurement of drams, 3 1/4, 3, 2 1/4, 2 1/2. It's funny. I thought there's 2 3/4, but there we go. This is adjustable. This moves. Anyway, there's that. There's the. What's quite nice is it's all Hawksley. There's not a mixture of stuff. So this was obviously supplied with Hawksley accoutrements. There's a beautifully black Japan tin of percussion caps. There's a wad cutter. Got the 16 on there. Nice ebony handled percussion nipple removing tool. Now that's got a, you can see that's got a groove running all the way through the middle, and in fact is the perfect fit for this, for the nipples that are on this gun. So they're not the square ones. So that's obviously original. Over here we've got more cleaning jags. We've got a little handmade wooden snap top box of percussion caps. Rather nice. Later shot shell bushing cutter. Now these are interesting. These have got the measurement, the correct measurement for the gun in each pot. It's full of shot. Isn't that nice? Both of those full of shot. So everything that the gentleman would require when he's going out to do a day's shooting, all beautifully stored in its original case. That is a wonderful collectible piece. If only these things could talk. I wonder of who had owned them. I mean, Prince Albert, for goodness sake, I mean, we're talking early days there. Early days. Yet a perfect ball in perfect condition. Hope you enjoyed that. It's certainly a pleasure for me to handle them and show them to you. Hopefully it might just kick off the urge to start collecting. I do believe that these are wonderful investments. I do rather slip into the background where officialdom is concerned, and yet there's something that you can look at and enjoy at the same time, something tangible, something that you can enjoy owning. Let's take this puppy to pieces again. I will of course be oiling this afterwards, but I'm sure you don't want to sit there watching me unload or re-oil a shotgun. So we pop the cleaning rod back in its guides under the barrels. Make sure the little pull-out tape is in position. Once again, points for collectors: look at the wear marks. You need to ascertain, because this thing isn't going to be cheap, you need to ascertain that this gun has been in this box and it hasn't been assembled at a later date to gain more monies for the unscrupulous horse traders of the world to make money out of you. So there we go, back in its box, all secure. Thanks for visiting By Sword and Musket. Please click like or even subscribe to follow more interesting gun stories or view things on the web page at www.byswordandmusket.co.uk.